Take a look at this. This is an artist's rendition of a waterboarding table, one of the enhanced interrogation devices used in CIA black sites after 9/11. Years later, we still don't know the full story. After the World Trade Center attacks, the CIA used any means necessary to get information from the bad guys. There's still much we don't know about all the techniques our operatives may have used, with blessings from higher-ups in the Bush administration. And now a stubborn push for answers has sparked what some are calling a constitutional crisis. You've got the CIA on one side, on the other side, the Senate Intelligence Committee, each accusing the other of hacking their computers. The Intelligence Committee claims the CIA has tried to sandbag its years-long probe, whose findings now run some 6,000 pages. The CIA wants to know how the Senate committee got its hands on a draft version of an internal review. Philip Mudd is the man that I want to talk to. He's the former deputy director of the CIA Counterterrorist Center. Mr. Mudd, your name, or at least your title, presumably would be all over that report. Do you want it released?
Yeah, I think it should be released. I think there ought to be a couple rules about how we release it. The report should be bipartisan. It shouldn't represent either side of the aisle. And if the CIA has a rebuttal, which I suspect they would, I think we ought to allow that to be released at the same time. But look, those of us who have our names or our titles in there, it's going to be a tough time. But this is important for the American people to understand this era in American politics, the era of the war on terror. And if this helps that debate at some point, I think it's okay.
Well, when you say that it'll be hard for the American people to interpret, are you really saying that it's difficult through 2014 lenses to evaluate the conduct of you and your colleagues in an immediate post-9/11 world?
I think there are a couple things that the American people are going to have a hard time with in this report in terms of interpreting it through the lens that I'll look at it through. The first is the report is only one picture of this story. People like me weren't interviewed. I gather that those who prepared it looked at documents, which is their right. So I'm not sure how much of a sliver this represents. But as you suggest, there's one other big piece that we have to remember. And that is, as time goes on, history can remember the facts. History cannot remember the feeling of sitting at that table every night in 2002 and 2003 and saying, what's going to happen tomorrow, and how do we find out what Al-Qaeda's up to? You can't replicate the sense of tension that I remember.
Well, I'm glad that you're bringing up the human dynamic from your perspective, because I was wondering what ran through your mind in that era as you were sending detainees to CIA prisons, CIA black sites.
Boy, I remember a couple things, and you know, this story, even for me, is hard to remember. I remember one thing that we spoke about in the office, and that is what we called endgame. We had detainees. We held those detainees not because we were jailers, but because we wanted to understand what they would tell us about Al-Qaeda. We knew that one day, though, there would be a reckoning, and that we would be vilified, and that reckoning has come. So we knew this day would happen. The second thing we knew, though, is that sitting there every night, I drove down from the CIA headquarters in Langley to my house on the GW Parkway, George Washington Parkway. And in those days, the New York Times was carrying the faces of the fallen. I remember those days driving home saying, what if we miss something and a child grows up without a parent because we didn't do everything we could? So I'm not sure what we did was right. I'm not sure it was wrong. I'm sure other people might have done things differently. But before you throw a stone, you better try to remember, it was tough.
Mr. Mudd, you've also written a book on the subject called Takedown: Inside the Hunt for Al-Qaeda. Was the White House, was the Congress in the loop every step of the way?
Sure. We went to the White House and said, are these steps appropriate? That's been well documented. I know there's disputes with the Congress about what they knew when. I was among those who went to talk to members of Congress and told them not only that we were holding prisoners, but described the techniques we were using. And also remember, we referred this to the Department of Justice and said, we respond and report to those who create the laws of the land, including the Constitution. Does this accord with the laws of the land? And the answer we got from both the Congress and the Department of Justice was, this accords with the laws of the land. This is not torture. This is acceptable.
Did the techniques, pardon me, did it work? Did you get the information that you were looking for?
Sure, I think this will be the subject of debate, because those who say it didn't work, let me ask you a question. We didn't try other options, so we don't know if other options would have worked. But over time, what we did was to take 1 million bits of information that we did not acquire from detainees. Things like electronic information, intercepts of Al-Qaeda. We took other information from foreign security services, and we matched it up with what detainees said. And when the detainees said things that we knew were true, we knew we were on a track with a detainee who was compliant. So we didn't take their word for it. We only took their word after we had established that they were being truthful. And I got to tell you, when I started receiving that information in the spring of 2002 with our first detainee, Abu Zubaydah, that information was gold. It helped us understand an adversary that we did not understand beforehand.
And final question, it would seem like this dispute centers on the fact that the CIA now realizes that an internal review of these policies somehow got into the hands of the Senate Intelligence Committee investigators. Briefly, how should this dispute be resolved?
It should not be resolved through courts and through references to the Department of Justice suggesting that somebody in the Congress did something wrong. I know that some of the people involved in this from the CIA side, let me be clear, they're going to be attacked. They are being attacked. These are great people. These officers I work with, A+, they are terrific. But once you get inside that beltway, you enter a snake pit. And that snake pit leads you to make choices and make decisions that I think sometimes, with the passage of time, seem like choices you would not make in an environment that's a little less intense. Step back, take a deep breath, let these reports come out. If the Congress wants to come out with a report that attacks the CIA, as long as it's bipartisan, that's okay. And if the CIA wants to respond, that's okay too.